Story time. This is a two-part post. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to continue providing free childcare for my stepdaughter? I did a work program with the local clerk of court's office when I was in high school. They hired me when I graduated and I had 30 service years before I turned 50. So, this is an older lady that's writing this. With 30 service years, you can get your full pension at any age. I worked until my first grandchild was born, then I retired to be grandma daycare. I have 5 grands, 8 male from my stepson, 7 from my son, 5 female, and 18-month male from my daughter. That's a lot of grandkids. I babysat all of them with no issues or complaints. I still keep the 18-month-old Monday to Friday and the older ones summer and school holidays. My stepdaughter and her boyfriend, so these are the culprits, has been non-stop drama since before the baby was born. When she was 10 weeks pregnant, they presented a 3-page list of rules for when I was babysitting. Oh geez. They said if I didn't sign it, they wouldn't allow me to babysit. I said that I understood their need to do what was best for their baby, and I assured them that there would be no hurt feelings on my end when they made other childcare arrangements. So these guys are being it feels like they're being too picky with the rules. And the grandma's like, hey, if you want to take your business somewhere else, go for it. Some of the rules were almost understandable, but most were downright ridiculous, and none of it was gonna work for me. I don't remember them all, but some examples are: I can't take the baby anywhere without their permission. I can't watch more than one additional child while babysitting, and keep in mind she has like 15 grandchildren or more. I can't cook. I had to provide the full name, date of birth, and address of any potential visitors ahead of time for their approval of the person being around their child. They have to know anytime I have a guest over and know who it is and how long they stay. My 9-year-old cat would have to be kept out of rooms where the baby would be, even when the baby wasn't there. I couldn't get another pet without their agreement. Wow, these guys are like... This is wild. I think they crossed the line. They're so far over the line, they look back and the line is a tiny little dot to them. Okay, when she was 7 months along, they came back with the revised rules in an attempt to compromise. I again let them know that their expectations were not gonna fit with my life and they should just find other childcare. I like this grandma. She's a no BS kind of lady. 2 days after my stepdaughter went back to work, she called and asked if I could keep Cullen. So Cullen, I'm assuming, is the grandkid from her stepdaughter. I agreed, but made it clear that I was gonna provide safe, appropriate care according to my judgment, and I wasn't going to deal with complaints or whatever that I was violating the rules, because I wanted it very clear that I was not agreeing to any of that. This is so, like, entitled, right? Like, she's the one that's doing them a favor, and now they're giving her 3 pages of rules and telling her how she needs to do her job. It's like, hey, yeah, please help us, but you need to do it on our terms. My stepdaughter was okay on the day she picked Cullen up and dropped him off. I felt like she was interrogating me every time she picked him up, but it was tolerable, but her boyfriend was downright rude. Ooh. I got to the point where I actually spent Sunday dreading the start of the week because of dealing with both of them, but especially his behavior. At minimum, he'd pick up Cullen, make a big deal of partially undress him, make at least one snide comment about my cat, or if I had any grandchild over besides the 18-month-old, or if I had cooked or whatever. Then he'd say, I guess we don't have any choice but to put up with this for now. What an a-hole. Or I guess you are happy that you won. This went on for 4 months. I spoke to my stepdaughter several times about it and told her that obviously they are very unhappy with how I cared for Cullen, and that they should really work on finding something else, and that in the meantime he needed to be less vocal about it. So the grandma's like, okay, I'm tired of you. You know what? Like, I'm doing my best. Take your business somewhere else. Right? Pretty reasonable. It would get better for a day or two and then he'd start again. So it seems like the guy is the problem, the boyfriend, not even the husband, right? It all came to a head as Thanksgiving was approaching. He was very verbal about the fact that he didn't want me to keep all my grandchildren over the break. 15 other grandkids, and he's saying she can't keep them. I made it very clear that there would be a couple of days that I had all of them and that they needed to make other arrangements if they had a problem. They didn't make other arrangements, and when he picked Cullen up on the first day that I had all my grands. He was very rude, and although nothing happened, everyone was happy, clean, fed, had a great day. He said to Cullen that he was sorry that they had no choice except to leave him in an unsafe situation to be neglected. Let me take out my violin. This is my violin, the world's smallest violin. Here we go. Let's go. Right? I called my stepdaughter that night, relayed to her what was said, and told her that she had 2 weeks to make other arrangements and that she needed to drop off and pick up Cullen during those 2 weeks. And if her boyfriend came to drop him off, I would refuse to keep him. And if he picked him up, I would not keep him again. So basically, the grandma's like drawing the line. Good for you, Grandma. So things were better only dealing with her. So she said, I don't want to deal with a boyfriend. Don't let him pick him up anymore. You pick him up. Okay. At some point, she asked me if I could keep him until January because they found someone, but he couldn't start until then. I agreed. She picked Cullen up and dropped him off. Everything was fine. New Year's Day, several people sent me a screenshot of a post her boyfriend made on social media about how thankful he was that they were finally able to leave Cullen without worrying about his safety or him being neglected. What an a-hole. What a POS. He didn't outright name me or accuse me of anything specific, but anyone who knows us knows I was keeping him, and the post implied plenty. I was just happy that it was over. Understandable, Grandma. Friday, she called me, the stepdaughter, and said that their new childcare provider had told her that Cullen wasn't a good fit and that she couldn't bring him back Monday. Sweet poetic justice, where art thou? Here you are. She asked if I would start keeping him again. I told her that I was sorry for their situation, but I really don't feel comfortable keeping him. Completely understandable. My husband and stepson both think that I should watch Cullen under the agreement that Amanda, the stepdaughter, drop him off and pick him up because they think her boyfriend is the big problem and that I should just do it for Cullen's sake. My stepson also commented that I'd probably be more willing to let it go if it had been a conflict with my daughter's husband. My pension is about $4,000 per month plus continuation of my health insurance. That's about 40% of our take-home income if that matters. Am I the a-hole for refusing to start watching Cullen again? What do you think? Who is the a-hole? It's clearly the boyfriend, in my opinion. It's clearly. Kudos to Grandma. It's tough, man. She raised kids. She's had stepkids. She took care of everybody. And instead of retiring in peace, she's grandma daycare, which a lot of I understand. It's tough. Parents need to work. They have to lean on grandmas. I know in some cultures you even have to pay the grandma to babysit, like you have to pay her money. It seems like she's spending money out of her pocket. All around, he sounds like a douche and guy with OCD, and he can't ever be satisfied. Let's see what the comments are saying, and then we'll get into part 2. So NTA, you're not the a-hole. No, you shouldn't put yourself through this for Cullen's sake. Cullen will get cared for regardless. There's no need for you to set yourself on fire because your stepdaughter and her boyfriend can't behave like normal human beings. Your husband and stepson are welcome to offer free childcare and put up with this treatment if it's important to them, but you've done your time. Learn from that experience and don't let yourself be put in the same situation again. I read that gaslighting runs deep in that crowd. You were so good with boundaries. Now they've slandered your name, called you unsafe and unfit, until they need you again. If your husband and stepson want to help them, they should. Wow, this is spilling some tea for sure. I'm guessing that example of your daughter, sister-in-law, doesn't include public shaming on Facebook. P.S. Those demands are nonsense and pretty funny considering they can't figure out their own lives but want to run your retirement. Good luck, because God forbid that baby gets mobile and bumps their head or some other minor issue. Yeah, it seems like it's a case of helicopter parents. I wouldn't for that reason alone. Baby daddy has a real problem. There we go. Baby daddy has a problem. That's very controlling behavior there. He also may have a distorted view of you if your stepdaughter has complained about her evil stepmother before the baby. I actually didn't think about that. So it could be that the stepdaughter complained about the mom to the boyfriend, and he has this idea of her being unsafe and unfit. And that's he's just projecting that. And this is clearly not the case. Not a good fit. Okay, cool. Let's get into part 2 because there's an update. All right, so here's part 2. Update, ATA for refusing to continue providing free childcare for my stepdaughter. So there's the link to the original post, which we just read. First, let me just address the common suggestion that Amanda's boyfriend is purposely sabotaging their childcare to trap her at home. So maybe he wants her to be a stay-at-home mom. They make roughly the same amount of money and definitely can't afford to lose half their income. I seriously doubt he wants her to stay home. Okay, understandable. Second, I would never tell my stepson to find someone else to watch his child because of a simple difference of opinion. My grandson, so this is about her stepson, right, who also has a grandkid. My grandson and I have a very close bond. He's the oldest, and it would break my heart because people are saying, hey, tell your stepson who's telling you to suck it up, you're not going to take care of his kid either, right? But she's saying she has a very strong bond with this other grandson. He's the oldest, and it would break my heart and his if he didn't come spend his holidays and summers with me. Plus, he's a huge help with the little ones when I have them all and things get hectic. So there's the oldest grandson, maybe he's in primary school, elementary school, and he's helping out as well. I would never be so petty as to make him and all my other grandchildren suffer because of an adult disagreement. So I sort of asked around about why they were dropped, so this is interesting, by their new sitter so quickly. Apparently they weren't. Amanda picked Cullen up and dropped him off both days he went, and everything was lovely. He did cry quite a bit, but they expected that to get better as he adjusted to not being held as much. So they don't hold him as much at the daycare. Surprise. My husband and stepson talked to Amanda, and she said that they realized that they can't afford daycare. So that is the issue. They already made the easy changes, packing a lunch, giving up fancy coffee, etc. And his dad and her mom are both giving them about $100 per month, so the couple's parents, towards childcare, and they can barely afford it. But they didn't realize that you have to send everything the baby needs, and the grandma has been taking care of that until now, and they've been abusing her. I buy diapers, wipes, formula, bottles, extra clothes, etc. And these things add up, of course. They just hand me the baby. They didn't realize that daycare didn't cover all that. Also, imagine her boyfriend's surprise when he found out what the staffing rates are in this very expensive daycare. One adult cares for 5 infants, right? There's no more of that, oh, it's only Cullen and nobody else, right? I guess he thought that someone would provide one-on-one care, diapers, wipes, and formula for $350 per week. I guess that was a rude awakening for him. My stepson relayed their almost apology. So they got lost, they went to a daycare, they saw how expensive it is, and now they're crawling back as the prodigal children would, and they almost apologized. They felt overwhelmed by an infant and couldn't imagine that someone else could manage that plus other things. Cullen is going back to daycare tomorrow, the other daycare. Cullen's dad is selling his dirt bike. The dirt bag is selling his dirt bike, and Amanda is selling some designer clothes, handbags, and shoes to cover the cost. It'll get easier for them in 6 months when he transfers to the 1-year-old class, which is a little cheaper. Yes, Grandma, don't give in. Don't take Cullen back. Stay petty in a good way, right? Stay reasonable, stay sane, and do not take him back because it's just unreasonable, and they're the ones that are being petty. I feel the stepkids, the parents. Let's see the comments. I love how Amanda's boyfriend was shocked to find out that the daycare isn't a magical babysitting fairyland. Imagine that. Newsflash, diapers don't grow on trees, buddy. NTA, not the a-hole. G, things cost money and babies are a lot of work. Boyfriend is a flaming idiot who killed the golden goose. Yeah, man, you had a good thing going. You had grandma taking care of things. He has no idea the favor you are doing them, and he's a crappy person. My bestie owned a daycare pre-COVID, and our kids went to her. Even with the friend discount, it was $375 a week because we had 3 kids there, 2 full-time and 1 before and after school. She is an angel for discounting it so much. In our area, that usually would be 2.5 times that much, and we couldn't afford it. Yeah, daycare, like $350, $375 sounds a week. Sounds like a steal. I thanked her constantly. I made sure diapers and wipes were stocked, plus extra just to be safe. I sent snacks for all the kids when I could. I brought her bottles of wine. Yeah, man, like you have to wine and dine the grandma. Are you kidding me? Because this is how you treat someone doing you a huge favor, massive, massive favor, instead of nitpicking and being picky about every single thing there, right? With gratitude. Her boyfriend is too stupid to breed. Sad she figured that out too late. I mean, this guy sounds like he has controlling issues straight up and OCD. Like, yeah. My mom babysits for free for us to have dates. We have 5 kids, the blended family, etc., etc. They thought the daycare provided everything and provided one-on-one care for a mere 350 a week. They didn't do their research before choosing to have a baby at all, did they? And I feel like the daughter, the stepdaughter, really didn't do her research and due diligence about the boyfriend. I guess they're not even married, huh? I keep saying the husband, but they're not even married. So that's a red flag right there. But if she leaves him, then she gives up half the income and the baby grows up without a father. So that's it. Okay, so let me know what you think. How do you, is this reasonable or are they being unreasonable, which is what I think is happening? And just to tell you, like growing up, my grandma, I loved spending time with her. She was this magical fairy that would take care of me, and like I would have this amazing experience every time I would go to my grandma's house. So I really looked forward to that. So kudos, grandma. My grandma's 93. She's still alive. And yeah, she's a great person. And I have these fond memories of her. That being said, though, I've read other posts on Reddit where grandparents are complaining of having to take care of kids and saying that, you know, they thought they're going to retire and just be free and enjoy their freedom and enjoy their retirement and travel, and now they're stuck babysitting and they don't want that. So it's not that easy. So if you are a grandparent taking care of kids, let me know your thoughts on this. How do you feel about this? Is this pretty unreasonable? How do things go down with your family? And if you're not a grandparent, is this opening your eyes to what's gonna come in the future and how you'll have to potentially support your kids? And is this something maybe you will not want to do or maybe look forward to doing? Anyways, let me know your thoughts. I'm obviously not a grandparent, so I can't judge myself, but you've heard my opinions, and yeah, I really think they're being unreasonable. So kudos to grandma. Good job. Keep going. Don't give in. Thanks for tuning in for this story time. Let's spill some tea, everyone. Bye bye.